We're in the factory here of VB Agri, and with me Kobie van Breda and also Sheng. Sheng, you're the African manager for YTO, or Ito as it's called in China.
Yes.
And Kobie van Breda, you're the managing director, owner, and founder of VB Agri, yeah. And you're also partners with CAD Fund. What is CAD Fund?
CAD Fund is the China Machinery Development Fund. It's basically a fund what China has started in China to help Chinese companies and companies abroad to build relationships together and to expand an investment into Africa.
Is this the first time that China has come into South Africa with agricultural equipment?
Yes, direct. YTO belongs to the Chinese government and we basically partners with them. And that's the first time they've done something like that. There's a few other people bringing in machines, but it's private people who bring in small amounts. But with YTO, we've got an agreement that we want to go very big with the project.
Obvious question I've got to ask you, which is the fundamental question that everybody asks, what kind of backup have we got with the Chinese equipment? Because as you know, in the past, there's been some very bad manufacturing come out of China, and it's caused problems in South Africa. What kind of backup and surety can you give people that buy this equipment?
I think that's the best question you could actually ask me, because that is the biggest problem I've got with China. I mean, I'm on their board now, on the quality board, and also a consultant for YTO for the international side, especially on quality. And what YTO's done, the big boss of YTO, basically told us before June 2014 we must be one-on-one with any European company in quality. And we actually improved our tractors over the last 3 years by 90% improvements on some models.
You know, I'm going to direct this question to both of you, you as well, Sheng, because one of the other problems that China has got when it comes into the South African market, it doesn't understand our market any more than we understand China.
Yes.
Methods and things are different. I know China doesn't like publicity very much, but unfortunately one needs it in this market. Do they intend publicizing the availability and the guarantees of these pieces of equipment?
That's also a good question. That's exactly what we want to do in South Africa. You know, we're coming here before, we are very cautious. We do a lot of marketing research. We know this is totally different to the other part of African market. And we don't do the business by our own. We found a decent partner. We're working with performance just like local South African companies.
What is amazing actually, Kobie, is that you actually build one of these machines here, don't you? Although it gets manufactured, the parts in China, you actually build it here. Yeah,
they didn't have an orchard tractor, and our main market in Western Cape is orchard tractors. So when I met B, I said we need an orchard tractor, and B said, but we haven't got time to make it and the volumes won't be big enough. And I asked them, can't I build one? And they said, okay, if you can build it, do it. So me and two of my personal technical people went over. We actually built it in China for 3 weeks.
It's very good to actually, because I think as far as I'm concerned, this is the first time in my travels between China and South Africa that I've actually seen a Chinese company putting people on the ground here on a permanent basis, which must please you, Kobie, because there's a huge investment, isn't there?
Yeah, and I can tell you also what they've done. When the biggest problem in the agricultural business or any Chinese business is spare parts. And when we sat down with the first meetings with the factory, I told them, you've got to put down the spare parts in South Africa. And they asked, what do you mean? I said, no, it's going to be your stock. So the factories put us more, it's now about 15 million rands of spare parts, what belongs to the company. And that's a commitment they give in. So YTO has actually put down 15 million rand of spare parts on consignment, but only get books out when it goes out of the stores. So that's also a very, very big commitment from them.
How long have you actually been established here at VB Agri?
About 30 years.
And you've only just moved into what made you move into a China product?
Okay, the China project came with a short discussion with my brother and he actually told, he works for Whitey Basson ShopRite, and Whitey also told me, you better go to China. If you're not going to go to China, you're not going to be in business in 10 years' time. And it was actually a big mind change from Western province products, the Chinese product. And today I must say I can never regret it.
Let's Kobie say why we choose VB Agri, because yes, company is not as big as other guys, but professional. They know the local market. They are working professionally. That's exactly what we want. We want to come here to do one-on-one compete against the big guys like John Deere, like New Holland.
Massey Ferguson,
yeah, same.
so on.
We perform as the same. That's exactly what we choose. Serious partners. We trust each other. That's important. I think the biggest barrier is the culture. Eastern culture, Western culture is totally different. And another second one is the language. Chinese people, yes, like me, can speak fluent English, but a lot of people, they don't understand one of the English. That's also a problem. So when you come across this cultural barrier, need more open, traveling a lot. I hope also more and more people go to China to learn China more.
If we go back to the equipment now and we look at the two tractors behind you, how many have you sold so far into the market, and how many do you foresee you'll be selling?
Yeah, we've got more than 1,000 units running now, and since the launch of 2010 in May 2010, we launched a tractor. We first got everything SABS approved, and we've got more than 1,000 units running now. For 2014, we want around 450 units. Every year we are growing, and we want to move into the number 5 position in South Africa, and our long term is to move into number 3.
If the government, for instance, which buys for recap programs, and they wanted to do a deal with China, how could that be financed?
Yes, that's a very interesting question. We've actually just come back from China, me and B, and we were told there our company, the Chinese government, will actually finance it. And we can do finance projects for 5 years, 10 years, depends what the government wants. As long as it's government to government, and it's got to be from $100 million or 100 million rand and upwards. But we can finance any project.
Are you using South Africa as the springboard into the rest of Africa?
Yeah, you can see that because, in South Africa, the market is good. They have very good financially bank system, and the law system is also good. So everyone coming to South Africa, not only for South African market, but the eyes open to whole African, especially Southern African.
But the banking
Sahara.
system up in sub-Sahara is not so good as it is here.
Yes, definitely.
So again, the Chinese government will have to probably assist in those areas.
Yeah.
Kobie, I'm going to address this one to you now. We've agreed that you're looking at a springboard into Africa. How do you intend going about that? Because that's a heck of a large area to talk to.
Yeah, we are busy now with Zimbabwe. We're selling a lot of spares into Zimbabwe already. Zimbabwe's got about 1,500 YTO tractors running there. What was a food supplied by World Food. And then we're now setting up a dealer network in Zambia. We've already in Mozambique. It's not successful, but we're going to change in Mozambique and do something else in Mozambique. We're busy with a young girl in Botswana. What we want to work with her, with the government, because we can finance it now. The only problem before, the Botswana government couldn't finance the products, and we're going to approach him now to do the financing of the products. So we are starting to move into Africa now.
What is the training program that you offer, and are you doing a training program, and what do you leave behind when you leave, especially when you leave an area that is remote and cannot get a hold of you that easily?
Okay, that's very important. We've got 4 technicians who's done intensive training in China themselves. They go over there to train, and they also actually train the Chinese. We've got 2 technicians at the moment in the Northern Cape. They're doing training now. They're going to be there for 3 weeks and training black farmers, what was not before at farmers. We sold 72 tractors there. So they're training them for 3 weeks now. And then we've Last week we had 2 guys up in Kroonstad area training people. So every second week we've got a team of technicians going out and training people. And we've also opening now a branch in Bethlehem, and we've also got a place now in Nigel, also a branch. So, and everything's going to work from there with training into the dealerships.